My name is Jamie Carr, and I'm a speech therapist with National Church Residences in Columbus, Ohio. As a speech therapist, I work with adults who have disorders or conditions that impact their ability to communicate. I help enable individuals who have deficits in their abilities to understand, process, and express language. Aphasia is a condition that's caused by a brain illness such as a stroke, brain injury, or a tumor. I've had the fortunate experience of being one of Margaret Richards' speech therapists over the last year through her course of rehabilitation for aphasia. Margaret's story inspired me not only professionally, but personally as well. As part of her therapy, I challenged her to write a speech about her experience, to empower her and to ultimately share with others. I know you'll be touched by her story of faith, family, and perseverance, and I hope you are inspired by her story to live life to its fullest and to enable others to do the same.
I'm Margaret Richards, and here I am to talk to you about what I've gone through in the last year with therapy, doctors, etc., because I had a brain tumor that was found in June 2012. The tumor was benign glioma, and coincidentally, I was diagnosed the same week that Sheryl Crow announced that she had the same brain tumor. I went to college at St. Mary's in Notre Dame, Indiana. I have a degree in history, and by the way, Notre Dame won a national championship in football while I was there. I met my former husband at Notre Dame, and we moved to Virginia suburbs of Washington, D.C., where I raised my 4 wonderful children, David, Mary, Margaret, and Thomas. After my divorce, I got an MBA in marketing and finance. I worked a number of years in financial roles for defense contractors. One day, I looked at something in the AARP magazine and saw that you could join the Peace Corps when you're older. And I thought, my children are grown, they each have jobs. My parents had both died, and so I decided to join. From 2008 to 2010, I lived in a small town in Albania, which, if you don't know, is above Greece and across the sea from Italy. I want to tell my story because I can tell you what it was like to go through the hospitals and rehab centers. I know some people don't get the ability to tell their story. I was determined not to be one of them. I wanted to be the best I could be. The professionals who helped me offered the opportunity for me the best I could be. I think people thought I was on drugs or I'd been drinking too much. Turns out that was not the case, so they ran a bunch of tests. The only test I really remember was the MRI. The test was uncomfortable, and when it hit my head, I went out a sound that was the highest note a soprano might give. They had to give me something to calm me down. I went to sleep, and the next day I had surgery. The tumor was huge. It was about the size of a small mango and took up to 1/6 of my brain in order to do the brain surgery. They had to shave my head. I woke up with no hair. It was shocking to my family because I looked exactly like my father. They all thought this was funny, but for me, I said, I don't really want to look like my father, a man. Of course, I always needed to ask everyone where they're from. One came in, and I asked her where she was from. She said that she was from Eastern Europe. I asked where. When she didn't respond, I wondered if she was from Albania. I told her that I was in the Peace Corps in Albania, and I lived in the northern region in Fusharis. Well, that was her town. She hugged and kissed. So ask people where they're from because you never know what connections you might have. I was in Mount Carmel for 2 to 3 weeks when I was taken to Mill Run Rehab Center. At Mill Run, I could walk a little more and had a computer I could use. I had many friends who came to see me at this time. The family knew something was really, really wrong when my speech began to decline drastically. I went from speaking lots and lots to not speaking much at all. Once at OSU, they quickly diagnosed that I had an MRSA infection in my brain. Within hours of being at OSU, the doctors determined that they needed to do a second brain surgery to clean out the infection area. So they had to shave my head again. When I woke up, I knew I had gone from one place to another as I woke up at OSU. When I woke up, I was looking at my son Thomas and Father Tim, a cousin. I looked at them and said, "How are you? What are you doing here?" I thought I was talking clearly, but no, I probably was not, because language is the hardest part for me. After a few days, I was able to be around people outside of my room. I had learned to walk at this point 4 times. I learned to walk as a baby. As a child, I had polio and had to learn to walk. After my first brain surgery, I had to learn to walk. Then, after the infection and the second brain surgery, I had to learn to walk again. I think that's enough. I don't think anyone should have to learn to walk that many times. I always relate everything to do things I had done earlier, because it makes it easier for me to understand and to comprehend and do it. So try to understand where people are coming from to help them better. First Community Village, I still had the pick, but I wasn't in isolation. I still needed help to get to the bathroom and walk because I was still attached to the PICC line. Dodd helped me get physical strength, and First Community helped me even more. The therapists were so good. I was to go to meals with other people, and again, this was so good for me. When the speech therapist asked me my goals, I said, I want everything back: talking, reading, and writing. In October, I left First Community Village and moved in with my brother Tom. I was not able to be on my own yet. National Community Church residents had the therapist come, and they decided right away that I didn't need the physical therapy and that I beyond that. But with language, oh yeah, I needed help there. Another odd thing is that I could sing in the past, and after the tumor, I couldn't sing. That I found out was that I had trouble hearing. My speech therapist finally figured out that I couldn't hear. It took a while to realize this because the doctors and therapists, their main goal was helping me to live. But my goals were much greater. I'm in the process of getting hearing aids, getting new glasses, taking the driving test, and living on my own. Recently, I went to Colorado for my best friend's son's wedding, and I danced a blast. I think I was 19. I am now reading a lot of books on the brain. I hated biology in school. My teacher told me he would only pass me if I said I'd never take biology again. And there I am reading all the different books on the brain and how different parts function and work. I think everyone should read and know about the brain. The more I read these, the book is more than I can read them and the brain. So I've learned a ton from all of you. So to conclude, I want to wear your hat. I want to smile a beam, the memory of all that. No, you